It's time for Screen Junkies Movie Fights.
What's that? Who's there? Oh, hey. Welcome to Movie Fights, everybody. We are going to throw down with some cinematic queries, and we have a trio of cinematic experts to answer these questions. Some or all of that may be varying degrees of true and false. But we have a really fun group of fighters here today. What do you say we meet him? This guy, hashtag Botanicus. What a weirdo. What a weird guy with weird answers. But he also knows a lot about movies, a big fan. He's a very funny man. Mike CARLSON.
Thank you. I am a cinematic expert also, so that is accurate.
But you got beaten by a puppet the last time
yes,
you were here.
I did.
Felted friend.
Sometimes when you love something like puppets so much and you're in the room with them, you get overwhelmed and you get maybe like you're not on your game because you're so starstruck. So I was in the room with puppets. I feel that, not my best performance, but I'm willing to take the puppets on again, and I feel that there will be a different outcome this time.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened to me when I got face-to-face with Ms. Mariah Carey.
Of course.
I froze!
Of course, who wouldn't when you meet Mimi, right?
Yes.
What is their name, Mimi? That's what they call her?
Up next, you know her from all over the place, and she's a good friend of the family, and a new mom.
Aww.
And, baby Luna is adorable.
Thanks, dude.
Welcome back to the show, SASHA PERL-RAVER.
I am a cinematic query, and I'm very excited about being here. This is going to be fantastic. I think that I was terrified when I found out CARLSON was here. We know how he plays.
Yep,
We know
fast
it's
and weird.
Fast, weird, dirty. And I totally understand the puppet thing because that was honestly one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry that you lost it, but blaze of glory, dude. Blaze of glory.
Yep,
Bon Jovi.
That
playing it.
cucumber was a real tough one. He was a real tough nut to crack.
I agree.
And this gentleman, he's making a long-awaited return to the Screen Junkies fold. He used to be on the Screen Junkies show back in the day, pretty on the reg, and he's a super funny guy. You know him from many writing assignments and projects.
And you know me from my 4th grade book report on the Red Badge of Courage.
The Good Mythical Morning, Cartoon Network, Funny or Die, and he's the co-host of the super funny Jordan Jesse Go podcast, Jordan Morris.
Hi, everybody. I should probably mention up top here, elephant in the room, I actually am a puppet. I am one of those, I'm like the Swedish chef. But these are human hands.
Yeah, you can't.
but
That's
the
why my
rest of
hands
me-
are under the table for the
I
rest
was
of
Right,
What?
exactly.
I
Yeah,
was-
she's controlling my mouth, and these are a puppeteer's hands.
I was wondering why there was a hand up your butt.
Oh, actually, unrelated.
Oh, okay,
I'm very-
great.
So, I'm coming for you, Carlson.
I'm very starstruck. I'm scared.
Three great fighters, and to help us break down these decisions, it's going to be myself, and we have the Dan Cam holding it down on the facts.
Woo!
Dan Merle. Dan, what is new in the world? How's your long-running feud with the people at the Gotti movie?
Gotti? Well, that audience score tipped over to Rotten, so now they don't know who people should believe.
They tapped out.
Yeah, I don't know. They went quiet.
Yeah.
Like they started, they came at me, and then I kind of said some words back, and they never answered. So
Did you have to leave a
squashed it.
horse's head in anyone's bed?
no comment.
Okay. Noted. Thank you, Dan Merle. And the voice of the people, the conduit of the internet, the delightful Danielle Radford. What up, Danielle?
Hello. Hi. So, first of all, being overwhelmed by felted friends, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that would even look like. But
You were losing it during
It was
that.
the best. That video that I
was
took of
great.
Danielle, it was the purest, most wonderful thing we've seen in 2018.
fake news. So, so the way that this works is that, yes, I am the voice of you. And so there is a poll that is on YouTube. There are many really fun polls on Twitter. Please join them. Please have fun. Please go into the hashtag Movie Fights Live, because I am going to be in that hashtag looking at all of your memes, all of your tweets, any kind of like fun asides or anything you have. I will be looking at those, but also, and in the YouTube poll, when there is a tie, we are the tiebreaker, my dudes. So vote in those polls. If you're unsure about how to, you can go down to the description below. You can ask us in the chat. There are many wonderful admins who are ready to help assist you. But just know that if you're asking us while everyone is going through their first answers of the round, we're not going to put it up until everyone has had a chance to do their opening arguments, because we want this to be not about the movies, but about the arguments, because that is what this show is about.
Hell yeah, what she said.
Yeah.
Also, before we jump into the fun, Danielle, I wanted to point out that you and Jordan are both working on a little project together, a new podcast. Jordan, would you mind giving us kind of just a thumbnail of what that is?
Yeah, sure. And maybe Danielle, feel free to chime in if you think I've left anything out. Yeah, there's a new podcast on the Maximum Fun Network called Bubble. It's 8 episodes. It's fictional. It's a sci-fi comedy. Notice how you said fictional like it was a selling point. You guys like fiction, right?
Well, because Max Fun usually doesn't do fictional. We do a lot of like interviews and feelings. And how does Danielle feel about wrestling this week?
Yeah, it's mostly Danielle's wrestling feelings, but this is it's a sci-fi comedy miniseries. I think it's maybe a little mashup. It's a little Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a little Portlandia. It's a little Logan's Run.
Yeah.
If you like a classic sci-fi. Daniel does some of the voices, did some of the writing on the show.
Yay.
Tons of funny people. Allison Becker from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Cristela Alonso from Cars 3.
Whoa.
Keith Powell from 30 Rock. Mike Mitchell from the Doughboys podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cool people in it. So yeah, if you wanna take a little dip into the world of fiction, it's Bubble.
Is it like an old-time radio play?
Kind of. There aren't as many boxes filled with hammers being shaken. Some, but
You
yeah,
can
that's kind of the
you can
vibe.
buy your boxes filled with hammer shaken noises now online, so you don't have to do it. in the
Yeah,
studio.
exactly.
Right.
It's a soundboard, and you can.
And yeah, one thing I will say is like this is one of those projects where if I wasn't on it, I would be like, why am I not on this?
Yeah, like as I was
I fell
listening
in
you
love with it.
describe that, Jordan, it's like, oh, those are a bunch of things that I like and much of our audience likes, so I want to listen to the words on that podcast. I want to listen to it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you should listen to it.
And
the
again,
audience
it's-
should listen to it.
Bubble on the Maximum Fun Network.
That's it.
Heck yes. Jordan, thank you. Danielle, thank you for everything. And just one more quick breakdown. We have 3 fighters, 7 questions. The first one to 4 points wins. 3 regular round questions, then we go into the speed round. Someone can be down 3-0 going into the speed round, and it's still anybody's game because you can catch up and overtake them in the speed round. That's about it. JTE, drop that sick-ass package.
Prepare to die. Ladies and gentlemen. No.
It's main event time.
JT, best package in the biz. All right. Question number 1. Hey, NBA fans. Uncle Drew is opening this weekend. Kyrie Irving and the gang. What is the best performance ever given by a professional athlete? What is the best performance ever given by a professional athlete? We are going to start with Mike Carlson.
All right. Now, my professional athlete comes from the greatest sport on earth, professional wrestling. That's my favorite, but it's also, I think we can all agree, the best. Not baseball, not basketball, professional wrestling. Thank you, Danielle. And that's why I did that. I was pandering to you. Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride. Okay, now we're not talking about a flashy performance. We're not talking about someone who's trying to act like a tough guy. We're talking about a soulful performance, something that is understated. You think wrestler, you think, oh, it's going to be some puff chest kind of, oh, I'm angry. No, it's Andre the Giant. You see that this man has heart. He has size. He has presence. It is amazing what he does in this movie. You remember this performance almost more than a movie full of great performances, full of great character actors. I think that this is something that takes Andre the Giant. You know him from the ring. Now you see this extra dimension to him. He hasn't acted in a lot of stuff, and he blows everyone away in this performance. I think it's incredible. I think it's the best performance by an athlete in any film.
Mike, do you mean it?
I of course mean it.
I was setting you up for anybody want a peanut. Come on, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm sleepy today.
All right.
Did you get what I was doing?
I didn't get that. Mike Carlson with Andre the Giant. Anybody want a peanut? Sasha PERL-RAVER, who you got?
I have, one of the greatest people working in film today. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot tell you how excited I am for Skyscraper. But before we even get to that, let's talk about his performance as Hobbs in the entire Fast and Furious franchise. But we're going straight to Fast 5 because you bring in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Danielle can giggle, but that was the performance that resurrected this franchise. And Mike, if you're going to talk about greatest sports, yes, he comes from the greatest sport, wrestling. He is what you smell when you are cooking because he is The Rock. But when you talk about action, when you talk about charisma, when you talk about presence, when you talk about sheer mass, you can only talk about The Rock. And he brought what you needed. You talk about a great performance. His physicality is what made those action sequences so fantastic. And people had given up on the Fast and Furious until The Rock, which is why now he and Statham are going off to do their own thing. I am here for it. I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it because it's that good.
All right, SASHA PERL-RAVER with The Rock in Fast 5. Jordan Morris.
There's an Olympic athlete named Kurt Thomas, and he starred in a very underrated but deservedly cult classic film, Gymkata. Gymkata is a martial art that combines gymnastic skills with karate kills. It is an 80s action movie starring a gymnast. He plays a gymnast who is also a secret agent who goes to the fictional country of Parmistan to compete in a deadly game. And he uses a martial art that he created himself that is that mixes gymnastic skills and karate kills. It is truly amazing. It is a very corny movie in the kind of vein of Kickboxer or Bloodsport or one of those kind of, 80s late night movie classics. But the things he is doing in this are genuinely amazing. There's a scene where he's running through the village of the Crazies.
Okay, is that what it's called in the movie?
Yes, it's called the Village of the Crazies, and and he's running from the villagers, and he runs into a town square where there is just a pommel horse. For no reason, and he uses that pommel horse to kick everyone's ass. It's totally amazing, and as I think we got a glimpse of in that still, he does all of this in pleated slacks and sweaters.
Wow. All right. Fight it out, everybody.
All right, first things first, Carlson.
Go ahead.
Name me a line that is definitive from Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride.
The peanut one that Jordan said.
He didn't remember it, so that automatically knocks it out. When people talk about The Princess Bride, it's like marriage and as you wish. I love Andre the Giant, but if you watch the documentary that's on HBO right now, he says specifically, Reiner and Billy Crystal, he wasn't acting. It was him. That was literally, he showed up, he was gigantic, and that's just him as a personality. They couldn't get him to act.
But it is
So
hard
it's
to
not
act
a
like
performance.
yourself. That's a thing to do, to bring completely yourself to the screen. That is not something everyone can do.
That's not
People
a
get very
performance.
I do feel like
self-conscious.
The Rock is The Rock in the Fast and Furious movies, though, right?
But that performance, that's a cultivated personality. If you watch him on social media in any movie he does, yes, you are always buying The Rock, but that is the magnetism that you pay for. That's probably not the dude he is behind the scenes. You think that's the guy he is when he goes home and he takes a poop?
Well, he's all
No.
ego. He does not have a performance where he can show you who he is. He's always puffing out his chest and looking cool. I think he has it in his contract that he cannot look uncool.
But
he's
he
very
looks
self-conscious.
so cool doing it, and that's what makes it the best.
He
And
does look cool, but that is, I'm wanting something more layered, something with a different, deeper
like
meaning.
Gymkata.
Like
you want-
Gymkata, gymnastic skills and karate kills. I will say so.
Yes.
Here's where I think Gymkata comes out ahead. He is using the thing he was made famous for. He is doing amazing gymnastics feats, kicking fools in the head. In this movie, if he's just standing having a conversation, he'll just do a flip, and it's totally amazing. And I think that, while The Rock does some impressive fighting in the FF franchise, which is a favorite of mine, it's mostly driving. It's mostly one-liners. It's mostly flexing his way out of a cast, which I love.
One of the quintessential best moments. Thank you so much.
It's an amazing moment.
Fast
It's an
Seven.
amazing movie moment when he flexes himself out of
And
the
says,
cast.
"Daddy's got to go to work."
But is he really? It's great. It's great. And
I mean,
it
I
gets
feel
the
like you're
machine gun
making
from
my
the drone.
argument for me.
But is he
you're
doing?
saying-
Is he using what he was made famous for? Not
Wrestling?
really.
Absolutely. In the first scene that you see him in, what they're doing, it's hand-to-hand combat where you're doing staged fighting. And you're saying this movie is great because, I'm sorry, what's his name? Kurt Thomas?
Yes. He's an Olympic. He's a gold medalist.
Famous. He's not famous. I'd never heard of him until I Googled the Gymkata.
Yeah.
Which I will say, the trailer is impressive.
It's a wonderful movie, and but I think this is if we're talking about I think The Rock at this point is more of a performer, and we're talking about athletes, and this man is
we're talking
using...
about performances. What's the best performance?
Question
From an
is,
athlete.
what is the best performance ever given by a professional athlete?
And he's a performer, as you just
Sure.
said. There is nobody who has created more of a persona in a better way right now than The Rock. And what he did, think about the egos he's contending with in the Fast and Furious movies. Think about the things he has to go up against. A safe driving through Rio, taking out cars as he goes. And you know what's still the best part of that movie? The Rock.
But where is the pathos?
I'll
Where are
argue
you
it's
actually
ludicrous. Go ahead.
worried? Where are you actually worried, The Rock? When do you actually feel for him? You go, this is the Superman character. He's not going to lose. He's going to win every movie. He's barely put in a bad situation.
He loses at the end of Fast Five. He
Yeah,
lets
but
the
he-
man get away. He doesn't actually
But he doesn't
his
get
guy.
beat up. He doesn't look stupid. He just lets a guy get away because
No,
he can't
in the
lose a
with
fight in a
Vin
movie.
Diesel, in the fight with Vin Diesel, it's completely equal the entire time because that was contractual.
Of course.
And the only way you can tell who's who is because he has a goatee and the other one doesn't. They're both in wife beaters and they're both getting sweaty.
Yeah.
But still, when we're talking about performances, like we're talking about acting, Andre the Giant didn't act. He just showed up, got super drunk, said his lines. And they said it was very difficult because they couldn't understand what he was
A
saying
man
on
who's
set.
drunk and performing like that is pretty
That's
impressive.
also how Mr. Marlon Brando operates. And I think we all agree
Exactly.
he's one of the
Thank you,
greatest
Jordan.
actors of
Thank
his
you,
generation.
Jordan.
Yes, absolutely.
It's okay.
what I'm saying.
Let me go back. So The Rock,
Yes.
I think is contractually obligated to perform all of his scenes in Under Armour.
Yes.
And this is tactical wear made for
Athletes.
Made for athletes. But also, could you not argue that it's more impressive to do amazing fight scenes dressed like a high school science teacher, like Mr. Kurt Thomas does in Gymkhana, wearing Christmas sweaters, wearing pleated slacks,
I feel like that has
a
a
dad
lot of
who's on
give.
his way to a Jimmy Buffett concert?
But that's got a lot of give. That sounds
He's
comfortable to
impeded.
me.
He's it's like when the Flash needs to run less fast and he puts on an iron boot. Kurt Thomas is impeding himself by wearing, something
Then
that
why
looks
have we
like he's
never heard of
posing
this
for his
before?
family Christmas
And
card.
also, we don't have confirmation in wrestling. Dean Ambrose wrestles in jeans, okay? But they're not actually jeans. They're tights that are made to look like jeans. We don't know what the material he's
I'm
wearing
speculating.
actually
It could
is.
be a kind of
it's
a
possible
tactical
it's
slack.
comfortable.
It
I'm
could
just
be a
saying,
tactical
let's
slack.
bring the costume person in from Gymkhana and talk to them
They
about
died of
this.
a
Just
cocaine
about
overdose
a
long
minute
ago.
left. About a minute left.
Right.
Dot any I's or cross any outstanding T's, y'all. About a minute left.
I just have to say, I feel like The Rock could be celebrated for so many things, but Hobbs is truly the performance that we will watch in the decades to come because it was so profound. It did so much for cinema, and it brought his star to a different level, and it brought that franchise to another level, and we have him to thank for it.
His singing's kind of bad in Moana. Sorry, I'm just taking
you're
cheap shots. I'm just
welcome.
taking cheap shots now because I feel like I'm losing and I'm panicking. No, listen. I just think if we're celebrating athletes and we're celebrating athletics, not action stars, not supermen, which these people you mentioned clearly are, I think we need to celebrate a man who went out of his comfort zone, who is clearly bad at acting and uncomfortable on camera, who did his best to do a lot of flips and kick ninjas using the skills he learned as an Olympic gymnast, a gold medalist.
Time. All right, there we have it. Wow.
I didn't really get a last word.
You know what? I said there's about a minute left. And it was
I thought
little
we
bit of
each had a minute.
free-for-all.
So
You want a
sorry.
last
Never
word?
mind.
Do you mean it?
I'll give you one last word. I'll read.
Gymnastics is not as good as wrestling.
There you go. Now time.
God.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? My mom would argue with that while watching the Olympics. Dan Merle, facts.
Just a few. As Danielle pointed out to me, there was a line of Chuck Norris action jeans made in the 1980s, specifically for. I'm seeing
Action.
it's a close-up of his crotch doing a kick, so it's just saying that these were made for action. So there has been a denim action apparel line.
I will say I'm talking about pleated slacks.
That's true.
Different
That's
thing.
true. I should say an action pant has been made. The Rock flexing out of the cast is from
Seven.
Furious 7,
That's
not
from Seven.
Fast 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to take that into consideration. Kurt Thomas. He was a member of the U.S. Olympic team in 1976, but did not medal in the Olympics. He is a 3-time gold medalist in the World Championships, and he was considered to be a favorite for the games in 1980, but the U.S. boycotted those games, so he didn't go. He never returned to the Olympics, but he is an Olympian.
Gotcha. And now, true or false, Dan, after he got into acting, he ended up taking home the EGOT.
Yes, Kurt Thomas and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Emmy, Grammy,
And Rita Moreno.
Oscar,
Are your
Tony.
EGOT.
He's also a composer. It's a little easier to win if you're a composer.
Yeah.
Great. So this 3 interesting performances. Mike Carlson, Sasha came at you hard with all that info from the HBO Andre the Giant documentary, and you pretty much just concurred with her, but tried to say, yeah, that's good that he did that.
That is what I did.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you 3rd place in this one here. It came down to Jordan and Sasha for me. Jordan, you really painted a great picture of this guy and the performing in that kind of outfit. I love that there was a town called Village of the Crazies. I actually I want to see Gymkata now and maybe have some sort of drinking game around it.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch.
Every time he gets on a pommel horse.
Yeah, right. Every time there's a piece of gymnastics equipment placed in the middle of a town square where there's a fight going on.
That sounds amazing.
There's also an uneven bars part. Anyway, go ahead.
Love it. But Sasha really spelled out to me how The Rock not just stepped up the Fast and the Furious franchise, but also his career standing with his turn in Fast 5. And you pretty much started singing the praises of The Rock in Fast 5.
Great.
So
The Rock's
you gave the
great.
alley-oop assist, and Sasha slammed it home.
Thank
I'm
you,
giving
sir.
it.
Thank you for the point.
I'm giving it to Sasha and The Rock. Let's go to Dan.
Well, I would have picked Hulk Hogan for his classic Suburban Commando, but that's just me.
My second choice was The Undertaker in Suburban Commando.
Oh, well, there you go. Exactly.
You're a dead man, Ramsey.
I concur with you, Hal. I just didn't really hear enough about Andre the Giant. I felt like there were too many negatives brought up. And if the question was which movie do I want to see right now, then it's Jordan's, hands down. I now very much want to see Gymkata, but the argument at hand and the question at hand, I have to agree that Sasha made the most compelling case.
The trailer
Right
does
on.
look awesome. Awesome.
Sasha Pro-Raver, you get the point. Danielle, what'd the internet say?
All right, the internet says 50% Andre the Giant, The Princess Bride, 34% The Rock, Fast 5, 15% Kirk Thomas, Gymkata. I will say, this feels like the most Danielle Radford centered fight we've ever had.
A lot of wrestling up in
I
there.
just feel like it's a lot of, it's more wrestling than we usually get, and every part of me is very happy about it.
Were there any other answers out there?
Yes, more people just pandering to Danielle Radford at JPEG.
John Cena. John Cena.
98.
John Cena.
Blockers, don't see them.
Yeah.
Best wrestler turned actor is Dave Bautista in Guardians of the
That was
Galaxy.
my other.
And Blade Runner 2049. Oh, and this one is JRS Pip-Boy 2008. Y'all know him as Jack Shipley said, okay, I dropped everything and blah, blah, blah. The answer is Michael Jordan in Space Jam, and you all know it.
Jack.
That's fair. The
right.
Monstars.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'll bring up a classic one. One of the greatest NFL running backs of all time, Jim Brown in The Dirty Dozen, which if you haven't seen the classic action
Good choice.
movie,
Yeah.
Good
The
choice.
Dirty Dozen with Lee Marvin and an all-star cast, check that out.
And of course,
Could
we
I-
have to say for JTE, obviously, Carl Weathers. Got it.
Fair.
I'd also like to endorse Lee Trevino and Happy Gilmore. It's a small but crucial
You know
role.
what? Shaq and grown-ups. Shaq is funny in grown-ups.
Well,
We could keep going all day long.
Yeah,
but we
the Body
won't.
Ventura and Predator.
Yes.
There's plenty.
but wait,
Lots
John
of-
Cena. John Cena.
Okie
give it to
dokie.
you.
All right, so after one round, it's Sasha 1, Jordan and Mike goose eggs. All right, so here's a question for you. Question number 2, who watches The Watchmen? Are you going to watch The Watchmen? There's been quite a bit of news this week about HBO's The Watchmen and the current, and the remake and the casting. We have asked our movie fight combatants to recast The Watchmen. So this round is going to work a little bit differently. We are going to throw out a Watchmen character and then go around and hear their individual choices, let them debate those choices for a minute or so, and then we are going to weigh in on each of their choices. At the end of those 6 character choices, we'll see who has racked up the most victories as far as their individual character choices. That person will take the point. So again, we'll hear their arguments for 6 characters. We'll weigh in on whose choice for each of the 6 was correct, and whoever has the most accumulated, they take the 1 point for this round. Make a little bit of sense?
Yes.
All right, let's jump into the fun. And Sasha, we're going to start with you for this. Recast the character Ozymandias.
I feel like this was the easiest answer I've ever had, which is Armie Hammer. So easy. When you talk about this character, you want to think about the pinnacle of physical beauty, somebody who's glamorous, sophisticated, lethally cool. And have you guys seen Armie Hammer in a tracksuit? He's supposed to be sort of European descent. He looks very Aryan Nation in the comic. I mean, it's just 100% him in terms of like that physicality and somebody who is so starkly white and yet so intensely alluring.
All right, Armie Hammer. Jordan, who do you have?
I am going Donald Glover. One of the things I love about this character is the, is the confidence. And I think that's kind of what even, spoiler alert for this 30-year-old graphic novel at this point, but he, as the kind of the villain, his cornerstone is that he thinks he knows what is best for the world. And I think something that Donald Glover does so well and everything is to be kind of a cocksure, confident guy, but you don't hate him. And I think with Ozymandias, obviously, like him kind of manipulating PR is a big thing. So he has to be confident, but you can't hate him. And I think that is what Donald Glover does so well. That's what he did great in Solo. In Community, he was kind of a confident guy who said stupid things and you still liked him. And I think that is kind of what he does well. I mean, obviously there's maybe some age problems. I mean, I don't know what Lindelof is doing timeline-wise, so maybe it would have to be he's a boy genius or something like that. But I think Donald Glover is the choice.
Great. Mike?
I'm going to pick something, a choice that's very controversial. I think the confidence that Jordan was bringing up is very important, and there's no more hateable, confident person than YouTube star Logan Paul.
Wow.
Okay, this is a man who is handsome and fits, well, maybe symmetrically handsome. I'm not saying I'm attracted to him because I certainly am not, because, he's terrible. But this is a controversial choice. I think that you're not only going to just dislike this character, you're going to feel it because you know the actor behind it is terrible, as I said before. I think that the Watchmen is a not disgusting, but a very grim story about Reagan-era politics. And I think no one is going to play the villain better than, like, terrible libertarian YouTube star Logan Paul.
One follow-up question, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
You trolling me right now?
Never.
Okay.
I've never trolled on this show in my life.
All right. There are the three answers. So let's go to Danielle Radford. Danielle, who do you like out of that one?
Okay, so as all of y'all know, there's no, it's just opinions. There's no...
Just opinions right now.
No YouTube polls, so I'm just going to give my opinion. I feel like as much as I love you, Carlson, there is a strong argument for you to have picked Logan Paul and you didn't pick it. And it was the one about media manipulation.
Yes. Sure.
Being able to get people on your side in the era of YouTube and all of these things. Donald Glover is a fantastic choice, Jordan, with the confidence and the cocksure. You don't hate him because of manipulation. But ultimately, I had to go with Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer.
He is so charming, and I will say that, like, I've seen him in roles where he has been an absolutely terrible person, but I have wanted to listen to him more. And also, when I saw him in Social Network, I was like, why aren't there actually two of him?
Great, thank you, Danielle. Dan Merle, who do you like?
I agree. Logan Paul is an interesting choice, but not my personal pick. It was between Jordan and Sasha, and I have to agree with Danielle that Armie Hammer just seemed like the best fit given both of their arguments, so I'm also going to go with Armie Hammer.
Great. All right, Sasha, you
guys.
take that one. Next up, cast Nite Owl II. Nite Owl II. Let's start with Jordan on this one.
So my choice for Nite Owl II is Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
So I think that something I think we would all like to see Tom Cruise do is to play his age. I think Tom Cruise, something that he is doing now, maybe why Tom Cruise movies don't have the impact that they once did, is that he is maybe trying to play a young action star while looking like a sexy uncle. And I do think that is kind of one of the things that is so compelling about Watchmen. It is superheroes who have gotten older, superheroes who are kind of past their prime, superheroes who, are in a world that maybe doesn't need them anymore. And I think what better metaphor for Tom Cruise's career. So I think in this one he would be playing his age. He would get to kick some ass, which I think he would, like to do. I think that's in his contract. And I think we would get to see another side of him, a side that maybe kind of mirrors his career.
Great. Mike.
All right. Again, as Jordan pointed out, this is a character who's past his prime. So we want somebody who's done this type of thing before, and I'm of course talking about Kevin Dillon from the hit TV show Entourage, who plays John. Oh yeah, the wonderful Jane's Addiction song. I
think so.
Yeah,
I believe
Terry
so.
Farrell. Yeah.
Yes. So
Might be a
look,
porno for Pyros.
Maybe.
might be. We'll check that. Dan will check that. So we know Kevin Dillon as Johnny Drama played a washed-up guy, but a guy who's in shape and can probably kick some ass, okay? So we've seen him do this thing before. This is an unconventional choice, but we know he can thrive on an HBO show. Kevin Dillon for the Nite Owl.
All right. Thank you, sir. Sasha PERL-RAVER, who do you got?
Well, as much as I admire Jim Cotta, I would like to see somebody who has karate moves. I would like to see somebody who is a little sad sack, very much past their prime, but who I want to see more of and who I miss, and that person is John Cusack. I want to bring back John Cusack. We saw him do karate and say anything. We know he can, kick a bag.
That's true. He was a kickboxing
That's
enthusiast.
right. I want to see him bring it back.
Those guns to hold up the boombox.
Right? Do you realize how
Those
heavy
things
those
were
things
huge.
were? That was a ghetto blaster. No, it's I think that he's got the sad sack qualities. He's got incredible pathos. He's an awesome actor, but he's gotten really soft and tragic. And I think he could bring all the characters. All the elements of the character together in a really interesting way.
All right. Thank you, Sasha. All right. So these are all interesting choices. It seemed almost like a joke answer, but then you painted why Kevin Dillon might thrive in that HBO habitat.
Not a joke answer, yeah.
Man, and John Cusack, I'm not sure about the moves, but I like the sad sack. Tom Cruise, I love the idea of playing his age, but at the end of the day, damn it if I didn't like Sasha's answer the best.
Damn,
I'm going with John Cusack, Dan Merle.
I actually thought the pitch for Tom Cruise was very strong, tying into his character, playing someone who is past his prime, who kind of has to look back on the fact that he is not of the age that he should be. I thought that was a great pitch, so I'm going with Jordan and Tom Cruise.
One for Sasha, one for Jordan. Danielle, what do you like?
Oh, these were all great. Unfortunately, there was some stuff that I was like, I wish I would have seen more of. Like with Jordan, Tom Cruise, I get that. I wish he would have also mentioned that he has done the fat suit when he did like Tropic Thunder, and he has done those things.
Sure.
When he says Kevin Dillon, when he mentions guys in shape, Nite Owl's not in shape. That's the kind of thing about his character, is that he's coming back and he's not a dude that's in shape.
You got dinged on that one.
And so while I do wish that Sasha would have brought up Gross Point Blank,
oh damn!
I have to go with Sasha.
All right, Sasha. She's got first two picks, first two victories for her. Let's recast the comedian Mike CARLSON.
John Travolta.
All right.
Gotti?
I just saw
Gotti himself?
I just saw Gotti and John Travolta. It was a packed theater, first of all. I don't know. And that is not. I am not joking.
People cheered at the end.
In Burbank, it was full. I came late, and I was
Gotti
worried
heads.
I wasn't going to
All
get
the
a
Gotti
seat.
heads.
People were there. People were excited. The man next to me was out of breath the whole movie. That's beside the point.
Yes.
John Travolta, I want to see him sink his teeth into another meaty role like the comedian. I think that Travolta will go the extra mile like he did with Gotti. I think he's going to go out to the comedy clubs. I think you're going to see him at the Improv. You're going to see him at the Laugh Factory. He's going to be starting to do sets around town. And is my choice primarily to go see John Travolta do stand-up at the Laugh Factory and the Improv? Yes. I would like to see that, but I think he's going to kill it. I think also he can play scary, he can play menacing, and I think he can be a great villain, as evidenced by the great film that I just saw with a full theater. Got it.
All right. A strange endorsement for Gotti in his argument for Travolta. Sasha.
I'm going John Hamm. You
Ham.
want somebody
Go ham on
who
him.
is- yes, go ham. Because you want somebody who's like a
good.
cigar-chewing badass, but also morally reprehensible, Don Draper. But also somebody who is so charismatic and so intriguing that even though they're not the primary center point of the narrative, even though it's primarily done through flashback, you want to go back to that story over and over and over again. And if there's a well that I will always return to, it's the John Hamm well. And also he looks a lot like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played the comedian the first time around.
Okay, great. Jordan, who do you like?
Well, I think the only choice to play the comedian is Jeff Dunham and Peanut. The
Who?
the Jeff Dunham, the Vegas comedian, and his racist puppet friend.
The ventriloquist.
The ventriloquist.
I
So,
see.
a little left to center. But, I think something, about the comedian, a reason why he's a compelling character is that he is two-faced. There's a side that he presents to the world, and then there's a very, very dark side that he presents interpersonally. And I think that, why not make that difference physical? A nice, boring-looking man and his racist puppet friend. So, when, the public face of the comedian, when he's doing the publicity photos and stuff like that, Jeff Dunham, a nice man, but behind the scenes, when shit gets real, that's when Peanut comes out.
Uh-oh. Okay, so we have Travolta, John Hamm, and Jeff Dunham and Peanut. Danielle Radford.
I look, the Jeff Dunham thing I think is really interesting, but I just don't
Thank
see.
you.
Once you
answer,
said
real
that
answer.
it was that Peanut is the murderer, I just can't. In a world where superheroes kind of exist, I can't with the puppet being a murderer. But that is a really interesting concept. Travolta had me. But I love your answer, but it can't be based on Gotti or us both wanting to see him biff it at Laugh Factory, which I do. I do want to see him biff it. Pearl Raves had me. Ham, cigar chewing, Don Draper, want to see him, can do the charisma, but also do the darker stuff. Had me. Got to go with Pearl Raves.
Okay, and I really loved Sasha's answer, but Travolta, Jeff Dunham, let's not forget jalapeno on a stick, but I'm going to go Travolta here.
Is that one of Dunham's peanuts?
Yes, that's
Or
one of
Dunham's
his puppets. I'm
Whoa,
going
yuck.
Mike Carlson with Travolta. I thought he just his overall career. He mentioned that he can play both, and then he relied heavily on Gotti. But I think he strikes the figure that we of the comedian that we'd imagine, and him going out and doing comedy. I love that. Dan Merle.
Mike, you relied so heavily on Gotti, knowing that you needed my vote. And it doesn't matter because I like that pick the best anyway. I also go with John Travolta. I just think that Sasha's Jeff Dunham was fine, but I think looking at the character, Sasha's pick was almost, for my mind, too close to what we already have, and I'm going with the more interesting one.
I mean, I liked Sasha, but it turned me in the other direction a little bit when you said, "Oh, and he looks like Jeffrey Dean Morgan." That's not a selling point.
Yeah, we already had Jeffrey Dean Morgan, so I'm
great.
going with the more interesting.
Great.
choice.
So Mike Carlson
You're just
gets
pandering
that
to
one.
the Gotti fans. I know you, Merle. I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Gotti fans love me.
All right. And up next, one of my favorite all-time characters, Rorschach. Back around to Sasha. Who do you like for Rorschach?
Oh, I like this a lot. I like Donald Glover. Donald Glover, who can basically do everything and anything. And the thing about Rorschach is you want somebody who can be deeply troubled, but you're still going to root for. The fact that he's a vigilante, that he's going out against what's wrong, but is also like so damaged himself. I feel like it's the most extreme version of the character he plays on Atlanta. It's like you're literally taking that and just going 5,000,000% further. And I think that would be incredibly awesome. And also, I just want to see Donald Glover in everything.
Yes. Okay. Donald Glover for Rorschach. Jordan Morris.
Well, if John Travolta is playing the comedian, why not make this a face-off reunion? Nicolas Cage for Rorschach. I don't know that I need to explain that hard, but I can make a case. This is a man who lives by his own code. This is a man who does things his own way. This is a man with a complicated set of beliefs that he has trouble explaining to the outside world. This is Nicolas Cage. Can you imagine? Just think about the Cage delivery on those classic Rorschach lines. You're not in here with me. I fucked that up. And I'm sorry I said the F word. I apologize.
It's all right.
Know the one.
I think it's fine.
You're in here with me. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. And think about him in the middle of a conversation eating beans. I think we all want to say, Nicolas Cage, stop a conversation to eat beans out of a can. He's the only choice. I'm sorry for saying the F word.
That's okay. No effing problem. Mike Carlson.
All right, I think my answer is pretty obvious, and
Yeah.
a lot of people online are are thinking it already before I say it. I'm thinking of an actor who is cranky, who's angry, who's damaged, who could play a sort of a vigilante character like this. Now, this actor is no longer alive, So we will be taking pieces of his dialogue from other things, piecing it together using a computer, a sophisticated computer. And the
computers can do that?
Computers can do that. The actor I'm talking about, of course, is William Frawley from I Love Lucy. He played Fred Mertz, who was a notorious cranky.
I'm just gonna knock you out for that. It's just very silly. I'm not even gonna listen. I'm making a judgment call.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna weigh in. I love both of these answers, and I'm going Nick Cage. Danielle.
Oh, these answers are so amazing. I loved all of them. They were all really fun.
I love both of these answers. I didn't like this answer.
Bad answer.
You can only troll so hard.
I'm not trolling, Hal. Have you ever seen him on the show before?
I'm looking at his paper. His answer for Dr. Manhattan is Grumpy Cat.
Yes,
It is. I watched
But
that.
Danielle.
Look, sometimes you Icarus, and I appreciate and I love you, Carlson. I also love PERL-RAVER's answer, but man, Jordan really had me when he was like, picture Nick Cage eating beans, and I was like, oh God. I can picture Nick Cage eating beans. He is perfect. He's a great choice. You made a great argument. I'm going with more.
Booyah! Okay,
Get it.
Jordan takes that one. Here we go. Mike, I love you and you make me laugh, but sorry about that. Dr. Manhattan. Wow, one of the most powerful, great characters. And back around to, Jordan. Jordan.
So my choice for Dr. Manhattan is Orlando Bloom. Now, how did I come to this answer? I was chatting with super producer Billy before the show. Is that what we call him, super producer?
Yeah, Billy Biz. Super producer. Yep.
And I'm like, my choice for Dr. Manhattan, I should pick someone who has blue in their name. That'd be funny. And he said, what about Orlando Bloom? And I said, sure. So it started out as a pun, but I think it is actually a great choice. Think about someone who is full of strength, but also is more internal than they are external. I mean, that is, why he was such a great Legolas, is because those, the elves are a race that has a rich internal life, but are kind of monotone and hard to read on the outside. And I think that is part of what makes Dr. Manhattan such a great character, is that he is so clinical about everything and is having this internal struggle that doesn't exactly read on the outside. So Orlando Bloom, it'd be funny because blue is in his name and Dr. Manhattan is blue, but also he's the best choice.
Thank Jordan. Thank you. Mike Carlson.
Brent Spiner from Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, Dr. Manhattan is a cold character. He's very withdrawn. And, of course, Data, very similar character. Sure. Now, Brent Spiner is up there in age, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to send a trainer over there and get him on HGH. But I think that a very jacked Brent Spiner would be fantastic as Dr. Manhattan. And no joke, no one can argue with me that he'd be great. Paint that guy blue and give him an 8-pack, and he would be fantastic as Dr. Manhattan.
All right. Thank you, Mike Carlson. Sasha PERL-RAVER.
Well, I thought Jordan was going to pick Orlando Bloom because we've already seen his penis. There's paddleboarding videos of him
Yes,
with Katy Perry.
cavorting with Katy
We've all
Perry.
seen
Not
the
have to
penis,
add a
yes.
dong prosthetic.
Well,
Okay, questionable.
You want a bigger dog?
But
That's fine.
my answer is I want to see Idris Elba. And it's interesting that you bring up characters that are more internal than external, because I feel like Heimdall, the character that he plays in Thor, is very much somebody who also, because you want somebody who can see the past, the present, and the future. That's very much what he is capable of. Also, you need somebody with an amazing voice. I could listen to Idris Elba's voice all day long. You need somebody who already has the 8-pack, so we don't have to send the HGH to Brett Spiner's house. He's got 8, 12, 16. He's got a keg, but a good, ripped keg.
Yeah.
And also, you need somebody who you want to see, blue butt cheeks. And I want to see the blue butt cheeks of Idris Elba walking around. But more than anything, you need somebody who is the nucleus center of this entire schmagegi.
Yes.
And that is what Idris Elba is.
You know what? You got me with the word schmagegi. I'm giving it to Sasha and Idris
It's
Elba.
the blue pain.
Danielle.
Man, I really wanted to go with Brent Spiner until you Brent Spinner, sorry, until you said
Brent
HGH.
Spiner.
Because he can Brent Spiner, you could just put him in a thing. He's great, but you said the HGH, so that lost the argument. Oh God, the Bloom thing was super great. It was all really, really good. Then the argument that you made about the pun name is not the best. Sasha just had the best argument in this one. I'm sorry. Besides blue butt cheeks, which are not fair, but saying that you need someone who can be the center of the nucleus in this show.
schmagegi.
All right.
He can do that.
Sasha, you are going to take this point because you have an unsurmountable lead right now.
Justice
Let's
for
go
Brent
around.
Spiner. Justice for Spiner.
No,
Justice for Spiner.
That was great theater of the mind, Mike. That was fantastic theater of the mind.
Wait, I didn't get to.
Okay,
I didn't get
so-
to defend
Based on
it.
the argument,
But Gal
not
Gadot.
Yes.
Spiner. Spiner's
so,
amazing.
Real quick. So let's see everyone's casts here. There's Sasha's.
Gal Gadot would be my
right.
Silk Spectre.
Oh yeah, looking good together. Oh,
Oh.
there's Jeff Dunham and Peanut.
Come on, can I get the point now?
I
Let's
love
see
the
the
double
best.
covers.
That's a good looking group.
Let's see the
Silk
best.
Spectre.
All right, here we go. Kathy Ireland is Silk Spectre.
Okay, all right,
90s.
so your Silk Spectre is Kathy Ireland. Who is your
Yes.
Silk Spectre, Sasha?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. And yours?
Carrie Coon,
what?
the great and everything Carrie
I
Coon.
love Carrie Coon, and she is amazing in everything she does. Loved her in The Leftovers, so I give you that point, Jordan. But it is moot. Sasha, you take that point. It is 2-0.
Thank
Sasha
you.
PERL-RAVER.
Thank you.
We made it through our Watchmen casting. All right, so it's 2-0. With going into question number 3 of the third round. Here it is. Folks, the trailer for the new Predator just dropped, and it looks like the new sequel features a super predator. Pitch a sequel to a hit film that features a more powerful super version of the main character. And this is question number 3, so we'll start with player number 3, Mr. Jordan Morris.
Thank you. Now, my choice for a super version of a pre-existing character is Superman. Now, did this also start out just because I thought that sounded funny? Yes, it did. But I do think there is a case to be made. The Superman problem is that, what can Superman fight that creates some sort of suspense?
Yeah.
He is such an overpowered character that, it is hard to put something up against him that is not a quick fight. So I do think you need someone with his power set. There's a comic miniseries that I really like. I think it divided some fans. This is Scott Snyder's Superman Unchained. 8 issues, I think. And it featured Superman fighting another similarly powered version of himself called Wraith. And what's going on? There's a lot of chair adjusting
Sorry, I
going
dropped
on.
the note card.
My chair just broke under the
okay.
power of your Superman argument.
Yeah, no, thank you. So this is Superman fighting someone who is just a little more, is a little stronger than himself, and it was the most suspense I have ever experienced ingesting any sort of Superman media because you really thought that he could lose. So yeah, I think a Superman is the way to go.
All right, thank you, Jordan. Back around to Mike Carlson.
All right, I'm going to take a beloved trilogy hasn't had a movie in a while, and we're going to bring it back, and we're going to give it the old super thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Super Austin Powers. Okay, we all remember Austin Powers. He's coming back. Mike Myers has been talking about it. How about this for a tagline? Austin gets real powers. Yeah. Yeah, baby. All the gags are bigger, all right? All the pooping gags behind like a dressing area, those are bigger. Superpowers. He can fly now. He's randier, okay?
Oh, God.
He's super randier. It's funnier. It's bigger. We have to go bigger with Austin Powers. Now, are all of his side characters also going to be super? Of course they are. Super Goldmember, Super Dr. Evil, Super Scott Evil. All right? This is going to bring Austin Powers back in a big bad way. It's also going to be a send-up of the superhero genre because Mike Myers is very good at parody, okay? Super Austin Powers is going to start a new trilogy, and everyone's going to love it.
All right, Super Austin Powers, Sasha PERL-RAVER.
All right. This one is very close to my heart. We're going to do the Super Greatest Showman. We are going to take the two things that Hugh Jackman loves most. Look at that face. He is so happy because he is going to sing and he is going to dance, but now we're going to take the other thing that he is exceptional at, which is being an action hero, and he is going to take that and sing and dance about it. It's going to be everything that we want from him. The incredible physicality that he brought with Logan, and now that we know he's not going to be an X-Man anymore, he can go do marvelous, crazy, magical, circus, musical stuff as a superhero, and Zac Efron on a flying trapeze and bringing in another superhero, Zendaya, and they can do all kinds of super circus craziness with their incredible superpowers. I want to see this movie.
Sasha, you are so excited. Fight it out, everybody.
All right, and no one wants to see The Greatest Showman be super because the first movie is very boring and forgettable. The songs aren't even good. I just watched it 3 weeks ago. I couldn't remember a single
I can
stupid
sing you
song.
every single song right now, and I went to a sing-along this weekend, and it was off the charts. I was jumped off of the building I was on because it was so happy. I wanted to imitate Michelle Williams. You are wrong. And
I
for
am
you,
right, and a lot
how
of
about the
people
fact that
agree.
you can't do Austin Powers without Vern Troyer, R.I.P.
The first movie doesn't have Vern Troyer, and it's the best one.
Okay,
So of course you can.
Too soon.
Carlson, can I propose
Too soon.
something?
Yes, please.
A Justice League of Mike Myers characters.
I
You
that's
have
a
Super
wonderful
Austin
idea.
Powers, Super
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Super Shrek,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
just
Super.
to
I
pander
saw
to
I
the
married an
internet,
ex
Super
murderer.
Shrek is pregnant.
Oh boy.
Fantastic.
Oh, don't forget a super love
Fantastic.
guru.
Oh,
yeah, Anybody who has seen
Guru
Mike
Pitka.
Myers do The Gong Show, The Love Guru, does
Right.
not need more of the Mike Myers.
love
We don't
Mike
want
Myers.
more Randy Mike Myers. We don't want any of that. And the
Jordan, are you
problem-
throwing your support over to Mike?
It seems like he
No.
is. It seems like he thinks that I would
Superman.
win.
If this culminates in a shared Mike Myers
Of
verse,
course it
I think
should.
I might be.
It should.
I think I might be.
Terrible.
Super Steve Rubell from Studio 54,
And then
the
he has
movie.
the villain is like an evil Suicide Squad of Dana Carvey characters.
Oh my God,
Yes.
this is horrible.
So it's-
This is
versus
wonderful. Thank you,
Garth.
Jordan.
Master of Disguise.
Yes.
And the Church Lady.
Of course.
The Church
Of
Lady is
course.
there, Lex Luthor.
This is
my
where
God.
I was going with all of this. This
Yeah.
is the last movie
See,
in the
okay,
trilogy.
Wait. He brought Lex Luthor up, so I'm actually going to go back to the real topic, which is Superman.
Yeah.
We've seen Superman lose. That was how. Remember, I don't want to spoil stuff because people yell at me.
Well,
we've
sure.
seen Superman.
Doomsday kills
lose.
Superman. That's like one of the things about
Okay,
comics.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, sure. I know what
And
you
you're
mean.
right. Like, we never see him have anybody who
Sure.
the powers actually seem like it's going to be a real battle, but that's always sort of the conceit anyway. So I feel like we've seen Superman, and that's what we saw with the last Justice League movie, and nobody wants more Austin Powers. But don't you want to see Hugh Jackman live his greatest dreams, doing both of the things that he's the most,
Jackman's
that
fine.
he loves the
No,
most
He's doing
together?
fine.
I'm not worried
He's
about
doing
him.
fine.
Don't you want to see him sing and dance as
He
Wolverine?
can host the Tonys.
He does host the Tonys, and
Yes,
he's amazing
that's what
when
it's
he
there
does
for.
it.
The Tonys is there so Hugh Jackman
But
can
he's
get his
never been
yayas
able to
out and not have to
combine-
make a movie about
No,
it.
He needs to combine his two great passions. We need to give this to him.
This isn't a Make-A-Wish for Hugh Jackman.
Jordan,
Yes.
you haven't spoken much about the Superman in a few minutes.
That's true.
Are you going to abandon ship on that and
No,
go? With
I mean, I think I will disagree that we've seen it. I mean, I think the closest thing we've got on film is when he has fought Zod in both Superman 2 and in Man of Steel. You're fighting a similarly powered villain, but I think in both cases, it was never you were never concerned that he was going to lose because as cool as Zod's powers can be, it never seemed like he was greater than Superman. And I think that would be kind of cool. It's seeing Superman butt a little bit more, and I think that would really juice a sequel
It
if
seems
they
like
end
a
up making it.
slightly different version is what Jordan is pitching. Just like slightly.
Yeah,
he
but
keeps saying like little
He's
and
like
slightly.
a little bit better.
Time. All right, we're going to call it there. Dan, any factualities?
No
to
real
check?
factualities to check. No.
Okay.
No, it's pretty theoretical. We're pretty on point. I think that super versions of characters and whatnot. So
I think Sasha made a compelling argument about combining the things Hugh Jackman loves, but you were way more excited than I think anyone else in the room. And Jordan, I think you undercut your argument.
I bailed on mine a little. I bailed on mine a little. Yeah, I might have
And then
bailed.
painting the picture that we kind of saw it, and Mike pointed out. Mike really dinged you, saying it was just a little bit better. Also, I was nervous for Superman when he was not just going against Zod, but there were two other baddies with his powers in Superman.
That's
the
an
original
underrated
Superman
action
2.
scene. That's a very good scene.
It's good stuff. But like you and Mike combining to paint that Justice League of Mike Myers characters.
God.
Great,
Awful.
fantastic, yeah.
I mean, that took me on a flight of fancy. Mike, you got my point for that.
Wow.
Dan Merle.
I have to say that I like Sasha's enthusiasm, but I think that she was hit a little bit too much by just like, aren't you just describing Hugh Jackman and who he actually is as a person? And I agree. I think that Jordan's fault lay mostly in that the argument was based on the crux of I would be worried about Superman losing to somebody, and the nuclear man, and he literally did fight himself in Superman 3. And only one of those options gave birth at this very table to a cinematic universe of possibilities.
Love a franchise.
I am also going to have to go with Mike with the even randier Super Austin Powers.
Do I make you super horny? Danielle, what everybody think?
Okay, so going into the poll, this is what the numbers are as of right now. Sequel with super version of a main character, we have Austin Powers, Super Austin Powers with 70%. What?
Wow.
70%.
Wow.
70.
20% is Superman. And 9%
guys hate
with
musicals.
Super
I like
Greatest Showman.
Everybody's very anti Hugh Jackman today, and I take that as Hugh. I got you.
All right, so let me. I'm gonna look at what we've got going on. Super Pennywise was something that came up.
God, no.
sure.
Ooh, terrible.
In the
Scary.
comments. Yeah, that seems terrifying. Does he just twerk? I don't understand. I don't understand what you guys want from a Super Pennywise. Someone said
twerking.
Super Bond.
Oh, that's cool.
Like a Super James Bond would be very,
Oh, that
very
could be
good.
the AVQ has some sort of serum. He's like, now we've been developing this,
Yeah.
and it could kill you, Bond, but it's you
That's
know.
cool.
Anyway,
And then on Twitter at Eric with a C _ BACHELDER said Super Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
Which that sounds really fun.
Lots of fun super
cool.
characters. Hey, y'all. The finals are set. We're going to the speed round, okay? It is going to be Mike Carlson with 1 point going up against Sasha PERL-RAVER with 2 points. Jordan, you fought admirably.
Thank you.
And I might come to you for some thoughts or opinions during this speed round.
I'll just be over here messing around on my phone.
Yeah, just
I'll be engaged.
Yeah, return some emails. We'll get back to you. All right, let's. So here's how the speed round works. I will pose the question. First person to answer will get to go first and elaborate on their answer, and it's 20 seconds, 20 seconds, and then rebuttals of 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Are you ready, folks?
Yes.
The speed round. Let's go.
All right, let's do
I-
this. Question
I
number
love
one of the speed round. Oh, and by the way, Dan, myself, and now Danielle with her own opinions, just like in the Watchmen round, will be chiming in. No time for a YouTube poll in the speed round. Okay. Question one. Solo screenwriter Jonathan Kasdan will write Indiana Jones 5. Which would you rather see? Solo 2 or Indiana Jones
Solo 2.
5?
Indiana Jones 5.
Okay, Solo 2, Indiana Jones 5. You answered first, Sasha. 20 seconds begin when you speak.
Solo 2 is already done. It's Lando. And all I want is Donald Glover the entire time as Lando Calrissian. We do not need any more Indiana Jones. We already bombed the fridge. It's completely destroyed. Do not bring Shia LaBeouf back. It's horrendous. We need to fix the Solo problem. And the way you fix the Solo problem is Lando and Chewbacca. And that's the party I want to RSVP to. Nobody needs to see...
Solo can't have a different lead character than Han Solo. It has to be Han Solo. You have to figure that out. So we can't pitch it just as that. Indiana Jones 5, at least there's a chance that we can do something with it. Solo is just full of references to how he got like his shirt and his pants. Like we don't need any of that. Indiana Jones 5, at least there's a fresh shot of a continuing the mythology as opposed to just like shrinking it and making it feel small.
Shrinking it, making it feel smaller. You want to see the island take off like a spaceship again? And Solo 2's title is Lando Solo, the way you wanted him the first time around. That's how you fix that problem, buddy. And
Are there colons in between both
Yes!
of those? Lando colon,
Mike,
Solo
there's-
colon, the way you wanted it the first time?
There's 3 great Indiana Jones movies and there's one okay one. There's only one bad Solo movie right now. So there's a lot more to work with and to play with. Indiana Jones can be played by Harrison Ford.
Time. Woo! Barn burner. Danielle Radford, what do you got?
Wow, this was really, really great. All of these arguments are so amazing, and as much as I love the argument that like Solo with Glover and Glover and Chewie, I do want to see that movie, but Carlson had me with the, you can continue on. It doesn't shrink it in as much as it gets to expand the franchise, and you can still have Harrison Ford. So I gotta go with Carlson.
oh, he doesn't want to do that movie anymore.
All right.
It's
That's
probably-
Yes, he does.
probably-
Yes, he
Dan,
does.
I
Dan
love you.
Merle.
You had time to make that argument.
I feel like the two arguments, Sasha's was facing backwards. I thought Mike's was facing forwards, which helps me onto his side, and also it doesn't help to advocate for a movie that does not star the lead character that was asked about. So I also have to go with Mike.
Boo! All
Okay.
right, fair enough.
Guess what, folks? We were locked up at 2-2. Jordan, which one did you like better?
I just, in general, I would like to see the other indie movie just because I think at this point in time, might be cool to have a movie where the main character's main thing is punching Nazis. I
Yeah.
think we could all use a little bit of that.
Sure
right now.
thing,
Argument,
sure thing.
Use a little bit of that.
Sasha, for the record, I liked your answer, but that is moot. We are
Thanks.
2-2.
I was
Going into
blinded
question
by
number
Donald
2.
Glover.
I get
Again.
it.
Question
I
number
get it.
2 of the speed round. Top Gun 2 is looking to cast
boy.
the Son of Goose. Who should it be?
Oh, God.
Son of Goose.
Son of Goose.
Cast,
Son of a goose.
cast Son of Goose.
Son of Goose.
I mean,
5.
Can Val Kilmer just
4.
play his own son?
That's the Iceman.
That's Iceman.
Oh, that's Iceman. I'm sorry.
All right, 5, 4, 3.5, 3.
Ty Sheridan.
Efron.
Oh. You're going to make me fight against Efron? That is cold as
Ty
ice, Carlson.
Sheridan.
Ooh, that is cold.
Zac Efron. Not Nora Ephron, right? Okay, we have Ty Sheridan versus Zac Efron. Sasha, you spoke first. 20 seconds begin whenever you speak now.
Okay, the thing about Top Gun is it's an incredible action movie, but there's no heart. The heart of that movie comes, spoiler alert, when Goose dies. So you need somebody who can bring pathos and the pain of having lost his father and been raised by a mourning Meg Ryan. And Ty Sheridan is incredibly emotional. He's really deep. He's super cute, so you get like the adorableness, but he's a really great actor. Like what he...
Zac Efron, because look, we need somebody cute, and this is the cutest man as far as age-wise we go. But we also need somebody that seems like he would fit effortlessly into the original Top Gun. This is a beefcake we're talking about. You can see Zac Efron playing volleyball on the beach. Number one is the aesthetic with Top Gun. Yeah, sure, there's a little heart in it, but we need it to look like the original and feel like the original. And Zac Efron is the type of actor that embodies...
But then that's exactly why you need the Ty Sheridan, because he wasn't a beefcake on the beach. Goose was the dorky one. He was the nerd. He was the guy in like the Hawaiian shirt who didn't really fit in. And that's why he died, because he wasn't like man enough to really finish it.
But Zac Efron can play that, okay? He's in a bunch of movies where he looks stupid over and over again. So he is handsome, he fits the aesthetic, but he can also look silly. He can also be a similar type of character, but also I think he's a different type of character. He is a...
Oh, all right.
This isn't Baywatch, Carlson.
Two good answers. But you know what? Sasha sent you reeling with her rebuttal. Sasha takes the point in my book. Dan Merle.
Well, first of all, there's an oversight here that happened on Screen Junkies News yesterday, which is that when speaking of the son of Goose, no one has spoken of Ryan Gosling, which would make the most sense.
Oh, Gosling!
Oh my God! Oh, so ready to do that.
Sure.
Mike, I thought had it when he's just like, he's going into the lore, he's going back to the original, but yes, the volleyball scene, Goose had his shirt on. He was the one guy that was not greased up playing to Kenny Loggins, and so I think Sasha spiked it, and I am also going to go with Sasha.
There you go, Sasha. You take that point.
Do you need to say Nora Ephron, though? My dad fell into the sea. I need this.
Thank you. It is 3-2, Sasha over Mike. This is game point. You need this to keep the game going. Sasha, you need this to finish him.
I hope it's a Ryan Gosling question.
All right. I just drooled on myself when I said finish him. All right, here we go. Question number 3 of the speed round. Some of this year's Universal Halloween mazes at Universal Hollywood Horror Nights will be based on Chucky and killer clowns from outer space. What movie would make the most terrifying Halloween maze?
The Shining.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, we have Pan's Labyrinth and The Shining. Sasha, you spoke first. 20 seconds begin whenever you speak now.
Imagine this. You're setting it up exactly like the hotel. You're going through the process, but you don't know what corner you're going to turn and there's going to be an old lady jumping out of a bathtub. You don't know where the kids are coming from. You don't know where the elevator of blood is going to open and unleash. It is the scariest movie ever made, and it's the simplicity of it. And just imagine Jack Nicholson coming at you with an axe, and you don't know where it just pops out of nowhere.
All right, I want something that's very claustrophobic. The scenes in Pan's Labyrinth with the crazy man with the weird eyes at the dinner table with all the food, that is going to be claustrophobic and terrifying, and also uses the creativity of the different Imagineers or the Universal creative people. They're going to have to do something very impressive that's not only scary, but visually amazing. This is just sort of a hotel and a guy with an axe. You're going to have to see the full Guillermo del Toro movie magic.
Everything you're talking about is about creating something that is otherworldly, and the thing about The Shining that makes it so terrifying is that it's so tangible. Every time you check into a hotel, you check that bathtub, and you're afraid that you're going to hear red rum in your sleep.
But at a theme park, I want to be impressed. I have a podcast called Podcast the Ride, and we love creativity. We love it when something is done that is amazing, not just something that's just scare for scare's sake. We want something that shows the human imagination off.
All right,
nice
wow.
Wow.
Nicely done getting the plug for your podcast in there, Mike.
Yeah.
Slipping into that question there, and check out his podcast. But the question was the most terrifying maze, and Sasha absolutely made the case for that. I go with Sasha. Danielle.
If we're going with terrifying and not just like a carnival ride, it has to be SASHA Pearl-Raves.
SASHA Pearl-Raves.
I appreciate like how good that would be as a carnival ride if it's terrifying. Gotta be
It's the
SASHA.
Shining.
I will be Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I will dissent. I
Okay.
thought that was a great counter argument.
Thank you.
It was a great answer, but Sasha takes the day.
Thank you guys.
I was going to say Jack and Jill.
The Jack and
God,
Jill
when
with
Sandler comes
yes,
out,
which Sandler will appear from behind
What Al
what door?
Pacino?
Sure.
Yes, the
Terrifying.
Dunkachino. Sasha,
Yay.
wow, you had a baby, you came back to movie fights, and you took it home.
It's very exciting. Thank you guys so much for having me back.
Oh,
This was
please,
awesome.
go ahead and plug some stuff.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I'm at Sasha Pearl-Raver. I'm on FX Movie Download. We're every Friday at 8 o'clock. I did a little something for Screen Junkies that will be, I don't know when, but eventually. And I just love seeing you guys. It's so great to be back.
Excellent. Oh, you brought it. Well played. Jordan Morris, was this your first time on Movie Fights?
This is my first movie fight.
Good
Wow.
And
job.
it feels
Good job.
amazing.
Yeah, you brought it. Super funny. Great answers. Please go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Sure. I'm at Jordan_Morris on Twitter, and check out Bubble wherever you get your podcasts. Something that I did with the great Danielle Radford. You'll hear her voice. You'll hear some jokes that she wrote. It's a great time. Bubble wherever you get your podcasts.
And it's fiction.
It's fiction.
It's fiction.
It's a flight of
Some
fancy.
make-em-ups.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for being here, buddy. Mike Carlson, always great to have you. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
yes.
in, making us laugh, making us think.
Of course, that's what I try to do.
go ahead and plug some
Fat
stuff.
Carlson. Oh, it says it on the screen. That's my Twitter, and of course, my podcast is Podcast The Ride. It's about theme parks. We just had Jeff Garland on. He was talking about an old ride called If You Had Wings, and we have a lot of fun, silly stuff if you like rides and theme parks. So, and Jordan is going to be on in a few weeks.
Yeah, an upcoming
Nice. So we
episode
just
all
recorded.
about the Waterworld stunt show at
Yes.
Universal
Oh,
Studios.
cool.
Yes, so stay tuned for
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
Kevin Costner versus the Smokers.
Nice.
Dan Merle, what's going on, buddy? See, you going to any movies this weekend?
See Sicario tonight, and I
Awesome.
might check out Uncle Drew.
Heck
I signed up for the AMC thing, so got to start using it, get my money's worth. I
3
will
movies a week.
Three
What the
movies a
F?
week, not bad.
They're
I
not
will
paying
say,
us. I just like movies.
Yeah.
I did go through the Shining Maze at Horror Nights last year, and it was quite terrifying. So
Right on.
it's,
Scariest movie ever made.
Yeah, and also I leave you with this picture of Chuck Norris's action scenes, including the crotch shot. The crotch shot showing how effective they can be in physical situations.
Is that the show's new best package?
Oh, nicely done. Sorry, JT. We have JT is shaking his head. No.
Mine is more impressive.
Oh, JT and Chuck Norris have beef now.
Yeah.
Daniel Radford, thank you as always.
As per usual, you can find me on Instagram, Danielle_Radford. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me every Thursday morning. I'm doing something called Raise Up on Gamma Ray. It's like 9:30 a.m. So you can literally watch that Pacific Standard Time and then switch over to SJU. It's so easy. And we're doing something called Throwback Thursdays, where I take someone through the history of when they first discovered all the nerdy stuff they like and how it like shaped them into the nerd that they became.
Aww.
Also, listen to Bubble. It's great. Again, if I wasn't on this, this would be my favorite podcast. Like, I'm not even lying.
Very cool. Danielle, thank you for holding it down on the social media and in life. Appreciate you. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Hal Rudnick. And I want to give a shout out to Osticles and Marco.Carlson on Instagram for giving me the best answers. I've asked some movie fights questions on Instagram. This week I asked, better movie, Back to the Future or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? And it got heated. So check that out on Instagram. The best answers came from those two. I shouted out. And thank you for watching today. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Billy Biz. Thanks, JTE. And see you next time. Bye-bye.